Namaste, a very warm welcome to all of you this evening. Friends, Pragna Bharati has been giving platform to many activists from Pakistan in the last couple of weeks. And today, as part of that, we have Sri Aurang Zeb Ji. He is a Pashtun activist, and I will introduce him very soon. Before that, it's my privilege to introduce Pragna Bharati to those of you who are coming for the first time. Friends, Pragna Bharati is an intellectual forum which was founded about 28 years back with a view to bringing out nationalistic narrative among the intellectuals. We have been conducting seminars, conferences, workshops, and various types of programs investing in among intellectuals of this country and trying to give them or bring them onto the nationalistic fold and making them think from an Indian perspective. We also provide intellectual content to people who are otherwise social activists and people who are working for the causes that are beneficial to the country. They may not have the intellectual content, so we provide them with that intellectual content as well. We produce, bring out with a magazine called Bharati Pragna. It's an English magazine every month. This is not available on the newsstands, but this contains very rich content in terms of content which is not otherwise available on your mainstream media. So I would request all of you to kindly subscribe to this. Because of the corona virus related lockdown, we did not dispatch them for the past 3 months. That will be happening in the next week, 10 days, we'll be distributing it. So kindly do subscribe to us. We also give an award, an annual award by name Pragna Puraskar. This is given to individuals who have, in their own field, have excelled significantly and have contributed immensely for the cause of the glory of Bharat. The last recipient was Dr. Satish Reddy. He is currently the scientific advisor to the Prime Minister of India. Those of you know about him. He is an expert in navigation system of missiles. He is a student of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and then he is now providing immense service to Government of India in the missile technology field. So friends, this is a brief background about Pragna Bharati. I request all of you to kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, to our Twitter handle, and our Facebook page. All have the same name, Pragna Bharati. And if you have suggestions, if you want to be a part of this effort, kindly do write to us on our email info@pragnabharati.in. All these details are being sent in the invitation message that has come to you. So kindly do keep in touch with us on all these fronts. Friends, as I was in my opening remarks when I said we have been focusing on Pakistan related activists in the last week or so. We had Hakim Baloch from Balochistan, who is fighting for the cause of liberation of Balochistan, independence of Balochistan. And then we had Zafar Sahito. He was fighting for GA Sindh and Sindhustan and liberation of Sindh. Then we had Omendra Ratno. He, as you all know, is working among the minorities who have come from Pakistan, who have been force converted and who have been tortured, people who have managed to come to India. He has been working among them to give them citizenship or give them support. As he was saying, every single day, there are 3 girls who are being kidnapped. So we had, all these people who have enriched us to understand the challenges that this country has been posing, Pakistan. So today, friends, we have Aurang Zeb Ji. He is currently staying in Germany. He is actually pursuing his further studies right now. But he is the founder of PTM Europe. Now, what is PTM? PTM is Pashtun Tahfuz movement. Pashtun Tahfuz movement is a movement which is a peaceful movement, like a Gandhian kind of a movement. They did not take up to violence, unlike the Balochis who are also doing the armed struggle. Pashtuns are not doing armed struggle. And the second important difference is Pashtuns want to have independence from Pakistan, whereas, Balochis want independence from Pakistan, but Pashtuns are seeking a dignity within the constitution of Pakistan. So they are not saying they want independence. Probably the ultimate aim could be they want to get away from Pakistan and have their own Pashtunistan, maybe merge it with Afghanistan. That's a long-term strategy. But as of now, PTM is fighting for the rights, the genuine rights of Pashtuns within the constitution of Pakistan. Currently, Pashtuns are treated as shabbily as the Balochis or Sindhis. So we have a serious problem. So as you would have seen the title today, from West India to the killing fields of Taliban, the struggle of the Pashtuns. Friends, when Bacha Khan was alive, at the time of partition, Bacha Khan is Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. He's a frontier Gandhi, and he is a Bharat Ratna awardee. He had propounded that what we call today Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, or West Pakistan, Northwest Frontier Province, that proposed to join with India. So then Congress leaders said it is not possible because we have a long distance. How can we control? How can we manage that? So then he had said, when there can be two Pakistans, East Pakistan and West Pakistan, separated by 3,000 kilometers, why can't you have East India and West India? Friends, that is the background with which we kept this title. From a situation where in 1946, Northwest Frontier Province had a Congress government, to today it is a bedlam of terrorism, Taliban, and you name it, any number of terrorist organizations which have been there, so much of army action in these areas, massive amount of death and killing, and so much of unrest in this area. This place has seen a lot of blood. So Aurang Zeb and his friends have been working among groups in Europe and elsewhere, trying to bring out the pain of the Pashtuns and trying to get justice for their community. And so, friends, today we have the pleasure of having him with us here now. We shall hear from him the pain with which their community is going through, and what is the pain that is being unleashed by this artificial state of Pakistan. Pakistan never existed in history, and this so-called two-nation theory was dead in 1971 itself, when Bangladesh, another Muslim country, broke away from them. So the dignity, the culture, the lifestyle of people are being trampled by one section of Sunni Punjabi army generals, and that is a very sad story. We in India, we have completely ignored, we did not care for what happened beyond Wagah border, but it is very important because these are all part of our own grand Bharat. They were part of the greater India before 1947. So we have a moral obligation to all of them for their causes. They are part of us, they are our brethren. So let's all hear Aurang Zeb ji, and we'll take it from there. After he is spoken, then you will have a chance to ask him questions. And then, as usual, you can use the hand raise button, and based on the sequence, we will call you one by one. Thank you all. And I will now request Aurang Zeb ji to start his conversation.
Thank you so much, sir. And namaste to all Indian friends, brothers and sisters. Thank you so much for the invitation, and I'm obliged to you and Pragna Bharati to giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts about the situations happening in Pashtun belt in Pakistan with Indians. So this is an honor for me. I would try my best to make justice with the topic. Yes, I would introduce myself also, and it was a kind introduction from your side, sir. I'm Aurang Zeb Khan Zalmay. I'm not Aurang Zeb only, I'm Aurang Zeb Khan Zalmay. So different from the one Aurang Zeb in the history. So I'm Aurang Zeb Khan. Yes, and I belong to the Pashtun belt inside Pakistan, and I'm the part of Pashtun Tahaffuz movement. So we will also talk about this, but first I would like to come that we are the part of non-violent movement, non-violent campaign by Bacha Khan at the time of freedom movement in India. So Pashtuns were at that time struggling for the united India. Bacha Khan was leading the Pashtuns, and Bacha Khan was today he's called as Pakhre Afghan, the frontier Gandhi, and Bacha Khan. His name is actually Ghaffar Khan, but these are the titles that we say. Bacha Khan, king of the kings, and Fakhre Afghan, the pride of Afghan. So he was leader in Afghanistan, and he was leader in United India before the partition. And he was he stood for United India, and he was against the division of India in the name of religion. But the Muslim League was demanding. The Muslims of Muslim League, they were living for centuries in India, but suddenly they felt that we can't live anymore with Hindus because they were afraid of the domination. And there was another difference. The Muslim League, they were loyal to the British Raj, while Bacha Khan was struggling against the British Raj for independence. So Bacha Khan and Pashtun, they stood very strong for the united India. And because of this stand they took in 1947, still today we are suffering in Pakistan because of this stand. As in Pakistan, they called us traitors because they say that you are anti-Pakistani, because Bacha Khan stood for United India. And also the people, the Pashtuns people in Pakistan, they, if you see this issue historically, they are occupied. They are occupied, and of course, in the past we have seen struggle for independence. We have seen struggle for Pashtunistan. But when we were on 3rd June 1947, when the partition was signed, then Bacha Khan felt a sense of betrayal at the end of Congress. And his last word to Mr. Gandhi was that you have thrown us to the wolves. And the proof we can see that in 1948 in the form of Babra massacre. So where hundreds of Pashtuns were being slaughtered, the Khudai Khidmatgar were slaughtered in Babra by the Muslim League government. They ordered the forces to open fire on the non-violent protester. So Bacha Khan, what he told to Mr. Gandhi, to Congress, that you have thrown us to the wolves. It was true. And till today, we are facing the situations. There is genocide of Pashtun. There is killing of Pashtun. So there was weight in his words, in the words of Abdul Ghaffar Khan. During the freedom movement, Pashtun struggle was very strong against the British Raj for the independence of India. And we see that in 1930, we have a massacre in Peshawar where the British army forces opened fire on protesters in Kisahwani Bazar, Peshawar in 1930, and more than 400 people were being killed in this protest. And then again we see in massacre in Mardan, in Takar village, where again the British forces open fire on peaceful protesters, Afdai Hidmatgars, and kill hundreds. One can Google this. And then in 1931, we have massacre in Banno, in my hometown. So these were very, very ruthless episode in the Pashtun history during the freedom movement of India. But when it comes to the third June plan, then here the Pashtuns were deceived. Pashtuns see the deception with them. So till today, the Pashtuns, they have this reservation and they have this complaint about the Indians, about the Congress, and generally they say Hindus. They deceived us. इन्होंने हमें धोखा दिया. So, but after the independence, India didn't take care for these ethnic minorities in Pakistan and allowed Pakistan what Pakistan want to do with it. So Pakistan started the occupation of Balochistan in 1948, and in 1948 they killed hundreds of Pashtun at Babda near Peshawar. Until today, Pakistan is involved in the killing of ethnic minorities, the Pashtuns, the Baloch, the Sindhis, and the other minorities also, even also religious minorities. So we, the Pashtuns, we have this complaint about the Indians that they have thrown us to the wolves, and we are suffering till today in Pakistan. So today the PTM is also following the legacy of Bacha Khan of non-violence. And PTM is a non-violent movement. Of course, PTM is addressing the injustices happening with Pashtuns or with ethnic minorities in Pakistan at the hand of Pakistani military. But with Pakistan, we have also national questions like the Pashtuns. They have this Durand line, and Durand line is not accepted neither by the Pashtun leader on the Afghanistan side, neither by the Pashtun leader living inside Pakistan. We say this is a line, Durand line is a line of hatred. And this line is the line of hatred on the chest of Pashtun, which divided Pashtun into two. So this is one of the historical contention between Pakistan and Afghanistan. Afghanistan is not accepting this. Pashtuns are not accepting this. And physically, if you see this line, there are villages. They have markets on one side and the village on the other side of this line. They have their graveyard, their cemetery on one side of the Durand line, and their village on the other side. So you can't separate these people, and they have relatives on one side. They have relation, the other side have. So these are the situation, the physical situation of this line. That this line can't separate Pashtun. But Of course, we have this contention with Pakistan, and Pakistan then tried to make Pashtun or the Afghan to make them weak, to dismantle their power, their unity, so that they are not able to stand ever against Pakistan and to challenge Pakistan, because we say the Pashtuns living inside Pakistan, we are living on our own historical land. This land is not given to us by Pakistan. We were living on this land before Pakistan. And I can tell you that my mother, she is older than the age of Pakistan. Pakistan, like at that time, they called themselves Pashtun, and of course Indian citizen at that time. So the one thing we say that India didn't take care of these people. Even today, India is considered a regional superpower. But if you ask an Indian about Pashtun, about Aga Farhan, they don't know. And I can tell you, I have an Indian professor, and he is not able to distinguish between a Pashtun and Baloch. So this is the level. And someone said that every Indian, sorry to say, that every Indian want to become a CEO, and every Indian girl want to marry that CEO. That's all. So if India is a regional superpower and India is the largest democracy, at least they should also think for the people who struggle for the united India. So when Bacha Khan was struggling, he was put into prison, into prison for years during his struggle for united India and after the creation of Pakistan. And he suffered a lot during the imprisonment of Pakistani government. And even when he died, in 1988, there was bomb blast in his funeral. And for that, the Pakistani government, the Pakistani intelligence, they are blamed for that bomb blast. So recently, couple of years before, we have the emergence of PTM, Pashtun Protection Movement, that stood for the rights of Pashtun, that stood against the killing of Pashtun. Like the situation, I can tell you that Pakistan military, after the war on terror, where the Pakistani military played a dubious role in the war on terror, because the war on terror, the aim was to eliminate terrorists and terrorism. But Pakistan, instead to eliminate terrorists and terrorism, Pakistan are supporting them and giving them shelter. And I'm the eyewitness of this. And anybody can see this in Pakistan. Go in, I will say, okay, if you can't go to Peshawar or to Quetta or to a tribal area, you can go to Lahore. In Chuburji, you can say a camp of Hafiz Said. In Ichra, in Lahore, in Muridke. So one can see this with his or her own eyes. So during this war on terror, the Pakistani military, and I can tell you that Pakistan is run by the military. The parliament has no power. The military either run this country directly or indirectly. Now at this time, the Imran Khan government is installed by the military. So during this war on terror, Pakistan military launched more than 15 military operations in Pashtun belt. And in this military operation, Pakistan military killed innocent people because the Taliban, they are residing in the cantonment military areas. They are safe. Ehsan was a guest, was living in the guest house of the military cantonment area and then in Peshawar. And now probably he's in Turkey. But the innocent Pashtun, they suffer. And Pakistan said that to the terrorists, that good Taliban and bad Taliban. We say no, Taliban are Taliban. Those who are working for Pakistan interests, fighting or making terrorism in India or in Afghanistan, they are good. So we say no, Taliban are Taliban, and terrorism, and we condemn. It's a menace, and we condemn it. So Pakistan launched this with more than 15 military operations, and in all these operations, I challenge the Pakistani military that please show me a single non-terrorist if you have killed or captured during these military operations, where Pakistan received billions and billions of dollars from the world. And what Donald Trump said 2 years before, on 1st January 2018, he tweeted that we have given billions and billions of dollars to Pakistan to eliminate terrorism, but instead to eliminate terrorism, Pakistan is supporting terrorism. And he said we have given $33 billion to Pakistan. And this was the US tax money that went to the hands of Pakistan military, and the military also train and support the terrorists, and these terrorists were killing the US soldiers in Afghanistan. It means that US tax money was paid for the terrorists to kill their own soldier in Afghanistan. So during this, I will say fake or dubious war on terror, what Pakistan was doing, 80 to 90,000 Pashtuns are being killed. Pakistan said that we have given sacrifices in the war on terror. I say no, those were Pashtuns. They have given sacrifices. You have sacrificed them. You have slaughtered them. And millions of Pashtun they displaced from Swat, from Waziristan, from other tribal areas. They were displaced and they were living in tent. And till today, thousands of Pashtuns are living in camps. Bacha Hill camp, and see the condition of Bacha Hill camp. And international journalists can't go there. Independent journalists can't go there. Even the Pashtun leader can't go there to meet their own people. And thousands of Pashtuns are missing. And according to Pakistani official, 4,000 they sold somewhere to Syria. The terrorists they sold there. And Pakistan was, if I say that the military was supporting and is supporting terrorism, and not only supporting but exporting to the world. If you don't believe in my words, just watch the interviews of General Musharraf, of Hamid Gul, the former DGISI. Even there is an interview of Benazir Bhutto, Shahid Muhtarma Benazir Bhutto. Parvez Musharraf is saying that we supported these people in Afghanistan. We supported Taliban. And Taliban are our heroes. Musharraf is saying this. He is saying Osama is our hero. Haqqani network is our hero. Hamid Gul is saying that they are my children, Taliban. And Colonel Imam, he is considered as the spiritual father of Taliban. So if you don't believe in my words, at least you can believe in the words of Pakistan military, that they are confessing this. And in this, during these dubious military operations, thousands of houses were bulldozed and markets were destroyed. In Pakistan, military used F-16 in this military operation. They bombarded the villages of Pashtuns. And they were doing bombardment in the night. And those people who are killed or those who were injured, they were not able to go to the hospital. And they were dying of too much bleeding. There are stories. If you don't believe in my words, go and look in BBC. Please look for these stories. And I remind you that in all these situations, India didn't talk for us. India didn't raise voice for us. At least India could do something at the international platform, at the United Nations, in other platforms. No. So PTM emerged in 2018 and challenged the military role on war on terror. Until today, we are struggling because the police officer in Karachi, SSP Rao Anwar, he killed 444 people. Most of them were Pashtuns in extrajudicial killing. And then he killed Nakib Mehsud. And here the PTM, they started and they launched a long march. So PTM has a sitting in Islamabad and demanded justice for Nakib Mehsud, demand for the cleaning of landmines from Pashtun area, because every day Pashtuns, people, men, women, children, they either kill or get deprived of their limbs because of these landmines. And Pashtuns were struggling for respect, for honor, for dignity, because during these military operations, Pashtuns were facing a very despicable position at the hand of Pakistani military at the checkpost, even during the search operation. So this was the demand to stop this and to stop the extrajudicial killing and to constitute a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to investigate the war crimes that has been committed by the Pakistani military in the Pashtun area during these military operations. So till today, we are struggling for this. The PTM is a non-violent movement. Manzoor Pashtun is leading this. And our demand are in the context of Pakistan Constitution. They are legal. And we ask Pakistan that the Constitution you have made in 1973, please follow this. Let's see the situations in accordance to the state law. But they do not. They are not ready for this. And now they offer us talks, muzakira. We said that if there is law, there is constitution, then why we talked? But even then we say, okay, let's sit. We can talk. But the military is not sincere. On one side, they offer us talks, and on the other side, they are doing crackdown upon our members, PTM members. And till today, many PTM members are still behind the bars. So this struggle is actually against the extrajudicial killing, against the landmines, against the missing people. Thousands of Pashtuns are missing. This is there is a this moment demands for Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and so far Pakistan is not ready. Instead, to fulfill our demands, Pakistan is doing crackdown upon the members of PTM. So we are struggling, and the Pashtuns, the young Pashtuns, they are very committed to the ideology of Bacha Khan, as they believe in non-violence. And of course, Pakistan is very much afraid, because for Pakistan, the threat is actually internal, not external. India is not a threat for Pakistan, I think. And also, if Pakistan has nuclear weapons, so therefore Pakistan will not face threat from outside, but inside. And inside is this mass mobilization of the Pashtuns. And Pashtuns are also in the bureaucracy, in the military bureaucracy and in the civil bureaucracy. And we know that the Pashtuns who are in military bureaucracy and in civil bureaucracy, they also support the demand of the Pashtuns, of the PTM, because the PTM demands are just. And because we have their sympathies of the bureaucracy, the Pashtun bureaucracy, and therefore we see that the state killed a police officer, a Pashtun police officer, Tahir Dawood. He was missing in Islamabad, and then his dead body was found somewhere at the border with Afghanistan. So this was an example. The Pakistani military wanted to make an example for the Pashtun bureaucrats that this will be the anjam. If you are supporting PTM, we will do this with you. But still there is support from the military bureaucracy, where the Pashtuns, because they know the Pakistan military is involved in of course, in the killings of Pashtuns, and missing Pashtuns are there. And these Pashtuns who are serving in the military, they see these situations. And I know many, they resign from the military. They can't face this situation. So this is the point, that Pakistan is very much afraid of the PTM, because Pakistan sees the potential in PTM. So I would not take much time, but these are the situations in Pakistan. And I wanted to tell the Indian friends, brothers and sisters, that we are suffering in Pakistan. We are being slaughtered in Pakistan. There is continuous genocide of the Pashtuns. And if you can see, you can Google Hadkamar massacre. This was last year, where the Pakistani forces opened fire on the peaceful protester in North Waziristan and killed 15 innocent people, and 40 they were wounded. So these are the situations in the Pashtun belt. And the situation in the Baloch belt is also very worse. The Pakistani military is involved in killing and kidnapping of Baloch, and they have this notorious policy, kill and dump policy in Balochistan. So these are the situations. In since India, we were once the part of India. We have a shared history. Come to Swat, you will see Buddhism there. In Bamyan, the statue were dynamited by the Pakistani military. Taliban were, as I mentioned, that they were the people of Pakistan, the shadow army of Pakistan military. And here I want to point out that what after the independence, the Pakistani state, means the military controlled state, is trying to make us Pakistani and Muslims and not Pashtuns. They try to change our culture with the Arabic one. They say we are Muslims, and neither we are Punjabi, nor Pashtuns, nor Pathans, nor Sindhis. We are all Muslims. So, but if you go to Mecca in Saudi Arabia, you can't go there without visa. So how we are all one nation Muslims. The thing is that the Pakistani, this we say the Project Taliban, that through Project Taliban they try to change our culture, to replace our values, to replace our language, Pashto language by Urdu. So, and they are sending the tablighis, they are sending the religious people to preach religion there. So that these people, they become more religious rather to be a Pashtun nationalist or traditional Pashtuns. So, and through this Project Taliban, if you see, like in Afghanistan, they changed the name of the radio. Kabul radio was Shariat radio, something like this. And so they want to replace our culture, our tradition with their with the Islamic one, with their Pakistani one. There is nothing original. Like Pakistan has only 70 years history, and either the tradition is Indians or Afghans are from Central Asia. So they say, like, we have a national dance, Pashtun national, Afghan national dance, Atan, and now Pakistan adapted that this is our national dance. They adapted our own dress, the Pashtun traditional dress, and they said this is our. So there is nothing original when we see that, okay, this is original Pakistani thing, because Pakistan was not there before 70 years before. So these are the situation in Pashtun belt in Pakistan that they are facing, the Baloch also, the Sindhis also, but the problem is that Indians they are not aware of this. And if you ask Pakistani about the situation about India and its Kashmir, they would describe you very well from their own narrative perspective. So, but the Indians, they don't know. Even the Prime Minister Modi, he's of course the Prime Minister of the largest democracy in the world, and he's very, for me, I can see him a very potential person. When he was delivering a speech in Lal Killa, he said Baloch and Pashtunis. I think, like, he was not able to pronounce the correct name of the Pashtuns. So, so of course the people then they feel a sense of course we during the partition time, what I mentioned before, that we felt a sense of betrayal. Bacha Khan felt a sense of betrayal at the hand of Congress. And then what you mentioned before, that Bacha Khan asked, okay, if you are going to have referendum, even there is a Congress government, a Khudai Hidmat government in frontier, why not they should decide this, the elected assembly? Why we should go for a referendum? But the Muslim League, the British Raj, and some of the Congress members, they were not ready to stand with Bacha Khan. Bacha Khan then asked, okay, let's go for referendum, but there should be an option, which is the third option, we say. And there should be an option that whether the Pashtuns they want to live with India, with Pakistan, or with Pashtunistan. And then Nehru and Patel, sorry to say, they were not ready to support Bacha Khan on this point. And even the Muslims in the Congress, Maulana Azad, at the end, when they signed the third June plan, Bacha Khan was sitting uh, in shock, and then he's coming, Maulana Azad is coming to Bacha Khan. This Bacha Khan wrote in his book, My Life and Struggle. Maulana Azad is telling Bacha Khan, oh, you should join Muslim League. So the British Raj asked Bacha Khan to join Muslim League and to leave Congress. And this he's writing in his book, Bacha Khan, writing in his book that, and also this is in the book written by Raj Mohan Gandhi, that we will give progress to the Pashtun area, to the Pashtun region. We will build here colleges, universities, schools, but you should leave Congress. And Bacha Khan, he was in prison, and Bacha Khan wrote them that no, this would be a betrayal. I do not want to do this. I would stand with Congress. But at the time when it was the time for Congress to support and to stand with Bacha Khan, Congress didn't. And still till today, because of this partition and because of this stand, we are suffering in Pakistan. I thank you.
Thank you, Aurang Zeb ji. Yes, we are all really ashamed and sorry for the way our Pashtun brothers were treated at the time of partition. And not just the Pashtun lands, but I think even we are suffering. India is suffering because it was the Pashtun irregulars who were thrown into Kashmir, and the Kabalis or whoever it is, they occupied part of Kashmir, Jammu Kashmir state, which is still in the Pakistani custody now. So Pashtuns have been used by the Pakistani state against every nation, but they were not given any dignity. They are needed for their construction in Islamabad and other places as coolies or as in the army. But then when it comes to their own rights, they don't care for it. What you said is absolutely right, and it is sad. It is sad that the nation of Bharat is forgotten about Pashtuns. Friends, the Pashtun tribes or the community of Pashtuns dates back to Rigvedic period. You should understand that it has nothing to do with Islam. Islam came only about 1300-1400 years back. But they were part of, you go to the 7th chapter of Rigveda, there is a battle called Dasharajya. It is very similar to your Mahabharata war. There were 10 kings who fought, and some of them who were defeated migrated away from the today's Punjab, Afghanistan area, and they went to Europe and Central Asia. And the others have settled down here. It's a Dasharajya, there's a story there. In that, the Paktiya tribe has been mentioned in that. So they are very much part of our Bharatiya culture for centuries together, for millenniums together. More than 5,000 years, they're very much part of Bharatiya culture. Yes, the first invasions, they bore the brunt. The first conversions happened there because they were in the front line to fight the Islamic invasions. So we cannot blame the current generations for what has happened so many centuries back. But however, we as Bharatiyas, we have forgotten their sacrifices. Even in the recent past, Aurang Zeb ji spoke about Khudai Khidmatgar, peaceful fight of Pashtuns for united India and kicking out the British. The British have tortured Pashtuns big time. If any of you has visited Kalapani, which is Andaman Islands, there is a cellular jail in Port Blair. In the cellular jail, you have huge lists of hundreds of Pashtuns who have been tortured mercilessly there. They were all peaceful, people who were trying to demonstrate, or even some people who took to violence also. They attacked British interests. They killed a lot of British officers or British soldiers. They were fighting for independence from British. They're as patriotic as maybe Bhagat Singh or anybody else, or Azad, Chandrasekhar Azad. They fought, but as a nation, our historians, our history books have never spoken about this. We just gave one Bharat Ratna to Bacha Khan and then we forgot about them, which is sad. It is important that we now try to realize the greatness of our civilization and the contribution of all these people for creating Bharat today. And it is our duty to get back to them. We are very sorry, Aurang Zeb ji, for the pain that Bharat has inflicted on you. That was one of the reasons why Pragna Bharati has organized such meetings. We have had discussions with the Balochis, with Sindhis, and we are now talking to you. We would like to engage with you as we go down the road. We do not know what the legal entity will finally be. Maybe you will be part of a greater Afghanistan, a Pashtunistan, or I don't know how the contours would be, or maybe parts of Pakistan would be part of India. We do not know. Either which way, I think your history, your struggle, and your contribution has to be recognized by Bharat. And if we have to really support you big time, politically, morally, and diplomatically also. I think before I throw it open for question answers, a couple of questions probably I wanted to ask you. Do you have any signs of pre-Islamic civilization still existing in your Pashtunistan, in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa? I know for one sure about there's a temple, Shiva temple in Peshawar, in the cantonment area, which is called Gor Khatri. Gor Khatri is Gorakhnath ji went there and did penance. So Peshawar itself is Purushapura. It's a very ancient name. So a few things I know, but maybe I would like to listen from you. Are there any Hindu Sikhs still living in that part of the world? What are their culture? Is anything preserved? Anything left of the ancient civilization? What do you know about it?
Thank you so much. In the ancient civilization, I will say still we have a lot of Buddhist relics in Pashtun area, in Swat, in Texla, in Bamyan, in all these areas. And if you come to the during the partition, before the partition, I would say I would talk about this time that this time, even in my hometown, there was a lot of temples, and Hindus and Muslims, they were living together. We had no issue with Hindus, and neither we tried to convert them into Islam, nor they wanted to convert us. Okay, and we were.
What is your hometown?
It's Bannu.
Bannu.
Yes. I would just need a minute. I'm someone ringing my bell. I can come in just in a minute.
Yeah. Okay. So, friends, I think while he comes back, let me give a few more data points about Pashtun. There's a place called Khurram. It's now even called Khurram Agency. This is mentioned in Rig Veda. It's called Kruma or Kurma or whatever it is. Kruma or Kurma. So, too many connection points we have completely ignored. I think civilizationally we lost all of these things, not just the political loss. Bharat was always multiple kingdoms, a part of multiple kingdoms. We never had a single kingdom, but we always called it Bharat. There are hundreds of kingdoms here, but collectively we called Bharat. So obviously these lands also are part of Bharat. Even now, even though it is part of Pakistan, it's still part of Bharat. That is a collective consciousness. I think all of us should have it. Yeah, I think he's come back. Yeah, Aurang Zeb ji, go ahead. Yeah, you can unmute it. Yeah.
Yes, sorry, someone was calling, even I didn't receive the call.
Yeah.
So, before the partition, we were living together, and after the partition was signed, then when the Hindus, when they were leaving our areas, people were very sad, and they were standing there in lines to see of the people at that time. And also in Peshawar, the Huday Hidmatkar, they protected the Hindus and Sikh from the attack, or yes, of the Muslims, because at that time the communal rights one can see, and the slaughter, and millions of people are being killed at that time. So we protected the Hindus there, and we had no issue with them. The conflict was between Punjabis and the Hindus. The conflict was between the Muslim League and the Hindus. So it was not Pashtuns. We were not. We were very at peace with the Hindus, and they were I can tell you. Like my parents, my father, they are telling us that we were going to their shops and buying things, and we were making a kata. You know, we were borrowing from them, and when they were going to pay the money back, and then the Hindu shopkeeper was asking if there is some problem, like if they are not going to buy anymore. Like they were so nice and generous. And still, when my mother was a kid at that time, she was going to bring lassi from the Hindu family. You know, they were drinking the lassi from their home. So it was not a problem to drink their lassi or to eat with them. No. So these were the situation. And even till today, I will say in Bannu, in my hometown, you can see the temples. There was a lot of temples. Now many people have opened shops in the temples. It's very sad, and we also struggle for this. That these temples and gurdwaras should be protected. So even there is in my hometown was one school, and the school name was Chotaram High School, and few years before, when I was passing there, I just suddenly saw it was written Islamia High School number 4. So it was changed the name. So these things are there, and we really condemn this. This history should be preserved. And so we had a good terms with the Hindus and with the other religious communities. But it was the problem with the Muslim League and the Congress. And like Jinnah was saying that we are Muslims and we are so one nation, and therefore we cannot live together with Hindus, and they were believing in two-nation theory, which you mentioned that two-nation theory was failed in 1971. So they say we need a separate homeland so that we can practice Islam. And after the partition, Jinnah was not able to find a single Islam, because if you read the book by Christina Lem, she wrote a book, Waiting for Allah. She was the class fellow of Muhtarma Benazir Bhutto. And she wrote this book. She said that like in Pakistan, when Jinnah demanded for a land in the name of religion, but when Pakistan was created, he couldn't find a single Islam, and there was hundreds of Islam. You know, first Shia, Sunni, and then you can go. There are hundreds of 72 sects, I think. This was the situation. He couldn't find a single Islam. He was not able to integrate the people in the name of Islam, because now one person will go to one specific mosque and not to the others, so, and would not pray in the other mosque. So these are the situations in Pakistan. Yes, but I can again tell you that at that time, even till today, when I was in school, we have one friend, one class fellow. His name was Ravi Anand. I remember his name, but I don't know because I think he went back to India. So he was my friend, and we didn't have any problem like that. He's Hindu and I'm Muslim. So, but for Pashtuns, we say that first we are Pashtuns because we claim 6,000 years history, and after that we are Muslims. Last thousands, 1,000 or 1,200 years, we are Muslims, and after that we are Pakistani citizens for last 70 years. So, and in Pakistan we are treated as a second-class citizen. So we say that we are first Pashtuns and then we are Muslim. Even Wali Khan said this, that first we are Muslim and then we are first we are Pashtun and then we are Muslim and then we are Pakistani. So of course this was a big tragedy in partition, and but it happened now. But what is the way forward? The way forward is that we should create a kind of confederation in the subcontinent yeah, like what we have in Europe, a confederation of Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, Bangladesh. Then we can make progress. We can, and we should have the right to develop our languages, to develop our culture. We have very colorful culture and tradition. And of course, the Indians is very colorful. And they are, by the way, they like colors also. Yeah, people like in the world, throughout the world, they like this. Here in Germany, I can see sometimes the celebrations or events of Hindu people, of their religious rituals and festivals on the street. They are celebrating. But so far, I have never seen a Muslim one, and I don't think so. That like because of this terrorism and how Islam was presented and all these things, now people, if someone is saying azan in the mosque here, people are very scared. So, and here the Pakistani military played a very big role in this because they created Taliban, and Taliban version of Islam is really very horrible. Nobody would accept this. We have a colorful tradition. We are from the same region. Yes. So we need, if we want to develop economically, culturally, traditionally, so we need to have a kind of confederation in South Asia, where there is no borders, there is no gates, there is no Wagah border, there is no Torham gate. So we need this. This is my thinking, that we need this in order to make a progress, and also we need to intermingle with each other. Like the problem is the Pakistani military is really in a dilemma. They would watch Indian movies. They would dance for Bollywood music, for Bollywood songs. But then they will say, no, India is our enemy. And they would believe first Pakistan should forget about two-nation theory. And it means it will be the first step that we can intermingle and we can make peace in the region. But if we, like the Pakistani military, actually need India as enemy, because we have such a large military. I say almost 1 million. And the unpaid army, the shadow army of Pakistan, the Taliban, the Hafiz Saeed Brigade, and all these religious mujahideen, they are the shadow army of Pakistan military. So, and we cannot afford such a large military. We can't afford. We are a poor country, and we were talking about the corona situation in Pakistan. We don't have ventilators because we are spending on defense. We are spending on military. and just see the education budget and see the defense budget, you will be surprised. So I think for education budget, they have 4 crore rupees, something. Sorry, I would be mistaken, but it's very less, the education budget. So and the military needs they need someone to address as enemy, and that is India and the situation in Kashmir. But Pakistan close eyes upon the its atrocities what Pakistan is committing in Pashtun belt, in Balochistan, and in Sindh and in other areas, but they would talk about Kashmir. Pakistani media, they do not allow PTM. PTM is a non-violent movement of the Pashtun youth, and they do not allow us to talk on the media, because then we can expose the Pakistan military. But 24 hours they were talking about the Kashmir on the Indian side, and even they would not talk about the protest we can see in the Pakistan occupied Kashmir. There was war protest against Pakistan. There are people, they are fed up of Pakistan. So they would not show this. They would not show the atrocities, the war crimes in Pashtun belt, and the missing issue problem, the missing people in Pakistan, and the extrajudicial killing of Pashtuns and Baloch. Yes, so they would not show this. But they would talk, they would criticize.
Friends, you can use the hand button and raise your hand so that we can call you for asking a question. Meanwhile, I have a couple of more to ask Aurang Zeb ji. Meanwhile, you can raise your hand button, and then we will call you very soon. Aurang Zeb ji, I'll ask you a personal question. Now, do you hold a Pakistani passport, or are you holding a German or a European passport? One. Second, you spoke not so nice words about, let's say, Muslims or Islam, but you are one. In the name of Islam, what Pakistan has done and things like that. So what are your personal beliefs? Are you a practicing Muslim, or you are somebody who feels that you have walked out of, or rather not a practicing Muslim, but a Muslim by name alone? How do you describe yourself on that front? And most importantly, having spoken so openly about Pakistan, about their army, about the Islamic issues and all, would you be in a position to ever go back to Pakistan? How do you envisage yourself, having taken the stand of being a PTM leader in Europe? What is your future back in Pakistan?
Okay, thank you so much for the questions. Yes, I'm carrying a Pakistani passport, and last time they threatened me that they would cancel my passport, but they can't do this. So I have Pakistani passport. And about my belief, I'm a very fantastic Muslim. I believe in Islam. Yes, and I condemn the Taliban, the terrorists, what they are doing in the name of Islam, and even Pakistan is using the name of Islam. If we see in the Cold War, Pakistan was saying that the war in Afghanistan, the Cold War, is a holy war, is a jihad. And so we have telling the Pashtuns to go and to do jihad, and they prepared a literature. The US was there also. US was giving them money and training. Pakistan was providing them people and space. Also, the Saudi Arabia was also their ally to beat the Soviet Union in Afghanistan. So, and in the US, in Nebraska University, they were preparing the textbooks for the Pashtuns, for the Afghans. And you know how were the books like in mathematics? The Afghans were supposed how to learn mathematics. They were learning 5 guns plus 10 guns is equal to 15 guns. And yes, and 10 bombs plus 15 bombs is equal to 25 bombs. And then we were learning this Urdu language. In Urdu, they were saying that jihad is Islamic fariza hai. Sorry, from the alphabet, like Be for bomb, Jim for jihad, Be banduk, means they were like teaching us in this way. So to indoctrinate us. So these literature were printed and prepared in Nebraska University, and then these were distributed among Pashtun kids. And Pakistan was telling the Pashtun that this is a holy war, and you have to go for jihad. So they actually stigmatized their belief, and nobody is ready to accept the kind of the versions, the Islamic version of the Taliban in the world, not of Al-Qaeda, terrorism. But Pakistani Prime Minister 2 weeks before, he called Osama bin Laden as Shaheed, he is martyr.
Yeah.
Yes, and it means that he was a holy warrior. And if he was a holy warrior, he was Mujahid, he's Shaheed, then means this terrorism is a holy war, is a jihad, and it is then obligation, it's compulsory for the Muslims to wage. And these words, what he said, first he said he was killed, and then he corrected himself. He said, the Prime Minister Imran Khan said that he was martyred, he was Shaheed. So these words were not expunged from the business of the parliament on that day. These words are now recorded in the history of Pakistan parliamentary politics. So this is they have used Islam. They use Islam during the freedom movement of India, and the Muslim League use Islam, and again during this Zia regime. So they have stigmatized this. I will say religion is a personal thing. I keep my belief to myself, and that's all. I do not want to convert someone. I do not want to force someone to believe what I believe. No. So, and that I come to whether I can go back to Pakistan. Of course, I will go back after the studies, and of course, I can see that there will be problems for me, but our struggle is for the voiceless Pashtuns there, for the innocent, for the victims. We are the victims of state terrorism of Pakistan. So we will struggle for our people. Of course, this is very difficult. We can see how the Pakistani military are following our friends, our PTM members. Many of them are in prison yet till today, and they are facing concocted terror charges. The Pakistan is in Hadkamar massacre. The Pakistani military opened fire on the innocent protester, and they killed 15 Pashtuns in North Waziristan, and they put this charge on PTM. PTM was armless at that time. Even till today, we don't believe in violence. So now they are taking this nowadays in the news. The government is taking these charges back, and I was asking a question: if you are taking these charges back, then it means the state is responsible for this. But many of our friends are still facing these concocted charges. We will fight for our people, for the innocent people, for the voiceless, and we will see. And we are ready for every kind of sacrifice. So we are very determined what we are doing.
Fine. I think I'll ask a last question before I open up for the question answer session. What do you expect from India? What are your expectations from India? I know you said something in your talk, but if you can be more specific, are you expecting financial help? Are you expecting military help? Are you expecting diplomatic help? Because after all, from an Indian perspective, this is legal Pakistani territory. So what happens within Pakistan is an internal affair, right? So what happens in Kashmir or what happens in Chhattisgarh, what happens in Tamil Nadu is an internal affair of India. We don't expect Pakistan to comment on us. So it is also but fair that India doesn't comment on what happens within the legal territory of Pakistan, right? So that's a view the Indian establishment has. So what are your expectations from Indian government realistically? And more importantly, there is this, I think Mr. General Ghafoor, right? That ISPR guy, he had said enough is enough, and he warned PTM. He said, you are, you know, where you are getting funds from.
Time is up. Time is up. I remember his.
Yeah, time is up. You're right. Yeah, time is up, and you are getting funds from India, raw agents. You know, he said a lot of things. What is the truth in that? Are you, I'm not too sure whether you'll be able to speak in an open forum like this, but do you see any kind of a support from Indian government anywhere?
It's all right. The former DG ISPR, Asif Ghafoor, we call him Ghafoora. So I will ask Ghafoora, the General Ghafoora, he's also called as General Peter, that please provide us proof. And he also said that PTM is backed by NDS, Afghanistan. The Pakistani military general is going and sitting with the Afghan president. At least he could demand from and ask the Afghan president that why you are supporting and can provide proof to Afghan president. But they never mentioned this during the meetings with the Afghan president. And I would ask Ghafoora that I was just making joke. We are making fun of their statement, of the military statement, what they are, because they just want to stigmatize without any proof. We say, please give us the addresses who is funding so that we can contact. We are in a very miserable situation because of the corona and all these things. I know activist friends. We are living very in a bad situations, and we are working here. We do mazduri. We are doing mazduri. So, and I really am also, when you said that India, financial support from India, I can't expect, for us, we do not want this and never would do this, but we never expect India would help someone financially. This is, forget about this. So I will say India is very stingy, sorry to say.
No, it's not. It is not. In fact, there was a time when India liberally supported the Balochistan movement.
I can't believe these things that India support anyone finance.
No, it did happen. See, what happened was in 1971, after the Bangladesh liberation, in 72, there was a Shimla agreement between India and Pakistan. So it is believed that Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, he signed the agreement in Shimla, and when his flight took off to go to Pakistan from India, when he was going back, he probably tore that agreement in the flight itself. He never, adhered to that agreement. Indira Gandhi realized it after 2 years. So she started funding Baluchi liberation big time. Till she was defeated in 1977, for like 3-4 years, she was heavily funding the Baluchi liberation. India did fund sometimes in the past, but then later on, slowly they withdrew. They stopped funding everybody.
First, I don't believe. I don't agree. Sorry, I don't agree with you. Maybe you are right. But if you are right, if India would really support the Baloch freedom movement.
Not now. I'm not too sure whether they're doing it now,
Yeah.
but I'm
Even
talking about
that time,
70s.
Baloch would, it will be not difficult to get independence. So, but maybe at that time, if they have supported someone, then they have supported the wrong person probably. So and recently, like since my political activism from my high school is, and I can tell you that first speech I made was about in 2001 when there was a attack on the Indian Parliament. On that day I made the first speech, political speech in my school. So since that time, like I'm an active activist, and in my time during I'm doing activism, I never have seen and have never any clue that India has supported someone financially. This is really a joke for me. And also, like India shouldn't finance these people. Yeah, India should give support, moral support, and should raise this issue on international platforms. India should talk for these people. If Imran Khan is standing in the United Nations General Assembly and threatening the whole world with nuclear war, and telling the world that what is happening in India and all this, what he's calling that Nazism, racism, I don't know what the words, but he's using these words, pogrom and all these words he's using. Why not India is raising the issues? What is happening, the genuine issue, what is happening in Pashtun Belt, in Sindhis, Sindh land, in Balochistan, just to raise them. Because if India talk on international platform, the international world will know that, oh, this is an issue. Even if Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, would tweet just that, like the massacre last time happened in Pashtun Belt, the hardcover carnage, if Modi, the Prime Minister Modi would tweet about this and condemn on humanitarian basis, the whole world would know that, oh, what is going on there in Pashtun Belt. If Prime Minister Modi would discuss these things in at international forums, at UN, in other international forums, then people would know about our problems, about our issues, about our situations. So this would be even a great help, but India even is not doing this. So this is very...
so essentially you are looking at moral support from India, not...
moral support from anybody who can give us moral support. That would be a big help.
Sure. Now I think we'll start unmuting people for asking questions. Chaudhary ji, please go ahead, sir.
Hello. I have a question for you, Mr. Aurang Zeb Zalamay. Sorry.
Yes.
I was a student in late 50s and 60s, and during that time we used to hear a lot about the Pashtuni movement, Pashtunistan movement as it was called then. Of course, TV was not there, we used to hear on radios. Lots of things used to hear about Pashtun movement, and Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, who was alive then, used to also indirectly was said to be associated with. But with the usurping of power by Ayub Khan, whom we believed was a Pathan, the Pashtun people were given a share in the power of Pakistan, and they say that thereafter the Pashtun people reconciled to live in Pakistan. In fact, Khan Wali Khan, who was the son of Bacha Khan, he was at the helm of affairs for a long time. So that being the case, we thought that the Pashtun movement is over. What was the triggering point for that movement to surface again? Was it the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan or any other event which again triggered it later? That's my question.
Okay, very good question, but I would ask before to reply your question. Where are you right now? You are from Pakistan or from India?
No, I'm a Hindustani. Anyway, well versed in Urdu and all that, but I'm from Hyderabad. Sindh,
Okay.
Hyderabad, Dakkan.
Okay. So, Chaudhary Sahab, thank you so much for asking the question, and it's a very good question. Like in the Pashtunistan issue was raised first time during the referendum time when during the 3rd June plan when Bacha Khan asked for this demand to be included in the referendum. And then at the same time, in the same year, there was in Banno, there was a grand meeting of Dai Hidmatkar in Banno, in my hometown. And they, it was, I think, 1 year before Pakistan, or 1 year after, I'm not sure, that they demanded for Pashtunistan, and they passed a Kararda, a resolution in Banno, and that is very famous in the history of Pashtuns, Kararda Banno. So they passed this Kararda that we then want a separate independent Pashtunistan. So, but after the creation of Pakistan, the Khudai Hidmatkar, they were put into the prisons. Yeah, and their struggle was dismantled. And what you talked about, Mr. Ayub Khan, he was a Pathan. Yeah, I believe this, he was a Pathan, but Ayub Khan is known in history, in Pakistan history, as a military dictator. So his cause was for Pakistan and for the Baloch dominant military bureaucracy, the bureaucratic military oligarchy. He was working for that. And I can tell you that Fatma Jinnah, she was the sister of Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Yeah, and she was struggling against Ayub Khan. And she went to Wali Khan and Bacha Khan at their home and asked to support her against the military dictator. And Bacha Khan told her that, okay, we were antagonistic in the struggle for freedom at that time. But here, against the military dictator, we are also against the military dictator, we would support you. And they had a struggle against the Ayub Khan. And Ayub Khan, there is this proof you can find on even internet that Ayub Khan stigmatized Fatma Jinnah, that Fatma Jinnah has now alliance with Khan Abdul Wali Khan, and they are struggling for independent Pashtunistan. So he blamed Fatma Jinnah struggling for Pashtunistan. So Ayub Khan was actually working for the interest of bureaucratic military oligarchy, not for Pashtuns. And Bacha Khan was in prison. Dai Hidmatkar they were in prison, and after that, Bacha Khan was in exile in Jalalabad, in Kabul. So this is one of the wish of Pashtun till today, Pashtunistan. Yeah, but the Pashtun in Pakistan will decide this. The nation will decide this, what they want, whether they want to have a Pashtunistan or to have a greater Afghanistan. I can see their future in these two. But I can't see the future of Pakistan. Pakistan is a very unnatural state, and Pakistan is killing its own self, killing itself by its own. So if Pakistan has no future, the Pashtuns, the Baloch, the Sindhis, they should think about their future then. This wish is still there, And why Pakistan is afraid of PTM? Pakistan is afraid of like what Pakistan has done in Pashtun belt. Uh, all these operations, I mentioned 15 military operation Pakistan line, and Pakistan is involved in war crimes there. And these people have a great contempt for Pakistan military now. So Pakistan is afraid that the PTM outcome can be then in the kind of Pashtunistan or Afghanistan. So Pakistan is afraid of this. But PTM, I clarified before that PTM is against the injustices. PTM is against the zulum, what we say. So so Pashtuns, of course, their future is so far like in last 70 years. Pakistan is involved in our killings. Pakistan is involved. Pakistan is using us as a war fodder. Bacha Khan was telling Pashtuns that the war in Afghanistan between US and the Soviet Union is not a jihad, but is a facade. It is a war between two superpowers. This is not a holy war, and Pashtuns shouldn't go into this war. They shouldn't fight this war. And then Pakistan addressed Ghaffar Khan as Hindu, as communist, as kafir. So, but this is the wish. This is the wish of Pashtuns, and we will see like what the Pashtun nation will decide for this.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Chaudhary ji. Gauri Shankar ji, go ahead, ask.
Ji, hello. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So actually, I came. I surfed a little bit deeper in the net regarding your Pashtun movement. I heard that Communist Party of Pakistan is strongly supporting the Pashtun movement. So in such a situation, why can't you get the help of different communists which are present across the globe in order to get your dream be fulfilled? That is my question number one. Question number two is instead of doing non-violent, hence the Pakistan is bullying upon you. Why can't you handle arms to do counter for Pakistan? These are two questions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Shankar Sahab, thank you for your questions. And yes, the first, I would answer the second question first. The armed struggle, you talk about that, why we do not take guns to struggle. I think you mean that, if I'm not wrong. I will say non-violence is a weapon. Non-violence is a weapon and is a very, very strong weapon. And when you see the struggle in the world, then non-violence is more successful as compared to violent struggle. And in non-violent struggle, you can mobilize the people, you can have access to the people, and you can mobilize large population of your nation, and you can also get sympathies of the people, even from the government side, the adversary side. We have sympathies from the Pakistani bureaucracy where the Pashtuns are working. They also see that their own brother and sister are being killed by the Pakistani forces in this dubious war upon terror. They see this and they realize this. So I think this struggle is, as we see, and we in non-violent struggle, you have less casualties. We don't want that people are being killed. Yeah, and this is more appealing to the world. And since Bacha Khan has set up an example for us, I think his thinking and his struggle is he's a role model for us, and therefore I think it is also one of the thing that we follow non-violent struggle. And through non-violent struggle, we have really given a very tough time to Pakistani military. And if we say, okay, we are violent, first, this is not our belief and we don't want to be violent. But if we say we are violent, on the other side, Pakistan, we don't have weapons. And in tribal areas, they were keeping before weapons, but now during these operations, the weapons, they are being collected from the tribal people. So we don't have weapons. And Pakistan has F-16. Pakistan used F-16 against Pashtuns. Pakistan has their jet and their missiles and their top and everything. We don't have. And I don't think so. If like in the region, like even India, nobody would give us weapons. So I think this is not possible that much. Strategically, this is not good to go violent. Non-violent, we have given really a tough time and a big challenge to Pakistani military, and it is working. So civil resistance can work, and it is working in the form of PTM, and we are very committed with non-violence. And second, international support. If we see international support, like communist, you talk about Communist Party in Pakistan, the leftists, they are supporting PTM, and not only I can tell you, any sensible person in Pakistan, he or she will support Pashtun Tahaffuz movement, because the Pashtun Tahaffuz movement demands are genuine, and the movement is genuine. And if we take support from international powers, then we would not have that legitimacy. Now we have the trust of the people. They are trusting, they are giving their sacrifices. But if foreign state would sponsor, then these people who are giving sacrifices, they will say, oh, we are like a tools in the hands of, that is not strategically right. So, but of course, human rights organization, they should support us. They should support these people. United Nations should support us. Other human rights, Amnesty International, Human Rights Council of the United Nations, they should support us. So through this support, we can make more progress. So, but the support of, especially like India, if India support this movement, then this movement will not have legitimacy. Among many people, they would criticize. And today, like we have the support of the other parties, like the Pakistan People Party, the opposition party, in one of the major party in Pakistan, even the Pakistan Muslim League, even Imran Khan, several times he has admitted this, that the demands of PTM, they are genuine. But he said, demand genuine है, लेकिन लहजा ठीक नहीं है. Tone में, there is problem in the tone. When we say ये जो दहशतगर्दी है, इसके पीछे वर्दी है, they don't like this. But there is truth in this this slogan, and this truth is confessed by the Pakistani military generals, Musharraf, Colonel Imam, Hamid Kul, Qadir Baloch, General Brigadier Qadir Baloch. These people, they have accepted that the Pakistani military, they have supported and they have sponsored terrorists and terrorism.
Okay. Thank you. Venkatramana ji from Karimnagar. Venkatramana ji, go ahead. Yeah.
Namaste ji. Aurang Zeb ji, you are talking about 6,000 old culture of Pashtuns. So what were the people of Pashtunistan, Pashtuns worshipping before Allah? And another question, even today, women in Pashtun areas, do they wear this face cover, face veil? Do they follow Islamic practices like face veil and all? And men follow polygamy and remove this mustache, or do they have some other system?
Okay. Thank you, Ramana Sahab. Thank you so much for asking the question.
Thank you.
Yes. Sorry, I forgot the first question. I didn't.
6,000-year-old Pashtun culture.
What was the religion before Islam came there?
Yes, religion. Okay, okay.
How people were worshipping, not exactly a religion, but what people were worshipping. Were they nature worshippers?
In history, you can even also read this history when we are talking about Pashtun history. We were once Buddhist. Before Buddhist, we were Zoroastrian, and people in this region, they were Hindus. So Hindus, then Zoroastrian, and then Buddhist, and after that they became Muslims. So this was the what we know, that the religious history of the region and of the people. And then you talk about burqa. In Pashtun area, like in many areas, we don't have burqas, but in some areas, of course, we have burqas. And I can tell you, in some areas, the Pashtun women are living in a very bad situations, because we are Islamized now. The Pakistani version of Islam, the General Zia version of Islam. So like if you see in Afghanistan, 50 years before, you see the pictures and the situations, and you see now. So you can see the difference. So we were baptized by General Zia. So there are problems, and there is burqa in some areas, but like in many areas in Peshawar, they don't have burqas. In Swat, in Mardan, in these areas, they don't have burqas. Even in tribal areas, they don't have burqa. You know, Waziristan, they don't have burqa. Now the Pakistan is sending tabligis to these areas to make these people tabligis and to indoctrinate and inculcate Islam into them. So now some people, you can see they are advising their families, their women, to wear burqa. But in tribal area, I think in Waziristan, you would see only 1%, 2 or 5% burqas. You can't see burqas there. They don't have burqas. So these are the situations. But of course, we are being presented to the world as terrorists and as extremists and very conservative orthodox people by the Pakistani military. General Musharraf was going and delivering lectures in the West and telling the West that Pashtuns are Taliban and Taliban are Pashtuns, and they are very dangerous people. If you are not going to support us, these people will even engulf the whole world. They are dangerous to the whole world. So this he was portraying our image. But we say no, Pashtuns are Pashtun is Bacha Khan, a non-violent leader. Pashtun is Ghani Khan. Pashtun is Pir Roshan. Pashtun is Rehman Baba. They are lovely people. Pashtun is Malala Yousafzai. Of course, we can say that Malala Yousafzai, there is some influence upon her by the Pakistani military. So, but these are the Pashtuns. PTM is the Pashtun movement. We are non-violent. We don't believe in violence. But those Pashtun who are believing in violence, they were the shadow army of Pakistan and military of Pakistan. They were the shadow army of Pakistan. They were the Taliban. And Musharraf is saying that Taliban are our heroes. Al-Qaeda is our hero. Osama is our hero. PM Imran Khan is saying Osama is Shaheed. Colonel Imam is the spiritual father of Taliban. So they have presented us to the world as very, very religious extremist people. But the real situation is not like that. And second, you talk about polygamy. I will say polygamy is even not 1%. One can make a survey. It is not even 1%. But this thing is in Islam. This polygamy tradition is coming into Islam. And of course, in tribal areas, this is, you can find this tradition. But in the present world, I think even you can't see 1% polygamy tradition in Pashtun belt.
Fine, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We will now take Shakti Sinhaji.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I must first congratulate the Pragna Bharati for organizing this. I think our friend is very right that we don't know enough about the Baloch, the Pashtun, etc. And very nice to listen to our young, can I call you young friend Aurang Zeb Khan, because you are Zalmay.
Yes, I'm Zalmay.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know that. Probably you are Pashtun then.
I know. My question was two-part. One part you partly answered, so I will not. The other part is I've been watching the rise of the Pashtun Tahfuz movement from the beginning. It is much stronger in the former agencies, the former Fatah areas, but in the settled districts of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, your district, Kohat, Peshawar, Charsadda, Haripur, in these areas, why is it not picking up strength? If you see their election results or otherwise, the PTM looks much weaker in the settled areas who have been co-opted by the state of Pakistan through the military, and much weaker and much stronger, therefore, in the former agency areas. Can you explain this?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question, sir.
And Bela Manana, once again for your talk.
Thanks. You're welcome. And so, yeah, PTM, thank you that you know a lot about PTM. PTM is stronger. I would say PTM was before. This was formed in 2014, and the name was Mahsood Tahafuz Movement, MTM. Yes, and 22 young people, they formed this, and they started a struggle. This was like the people were from tribal area, but this was formed, organized in Diaihan, in a settled area. So, but for the people of the Mahsood, of the tribal people, even we don't say tribal because, but it's okay, like, so we are talking, it's a debate, but many Pashtun, they do not like to call them as tribal. So the thing is that PTM was then MTM, and then they came to Islamabad. They have Dharna city in Islamabad, and they really in Islamabad ko hila diya, what we say in Hindi. So, and they said that these military people sitting here, they are qatil and they are involved in our killing, and they are criminal. And they said, ye jo dahshatgardi hai, iske piche wali hai, means behind the terrorism is the Pakistan. Yes. Here, the Pashtun from other part, they also came, because in Islamabad many Pashtuns are living, and they are from the settled areas. They also joined them, and they say, like, the demand are genuine, and what Pakistan is doing, what the forces are doing, and what the police officer did is really not acceptable in 21st century. And they joined them. And in Pakistan, the left people have an anger for the military, and the left people also joined the PTM. So in PTM, and this long march started from Diaihan, then to Tank, and then Banno is a settled area, and then to Kohat, settled area as you mentioned, and then to Peshawar, and then to Charsadda, Mardan, Sawabi, then to Islamabad. So of course, it is strong in tribal area. The reason is where our Pakistan military had an operation, military operation, and where the people suffered. You know, they are in majority in this struggle, and they are very supporting very strongly this movement. But also in settled area, there is support. Like I am from Banno, and in Banno they have a very strong support. At the time when the PTM leadership was almost in jail, then there was a very big jalsa in Banno. So, and then we have a very big jalsa. If you see the Peshawar jalsa, you know, Peshawar is the center, Markaz center for us in Pashtun belt in Pakistan. And then we see in Sawabi, in Swat. And you know, also my mother, she's very old. She cannot even walk properly. But she went to Swat, which is, I think, 5 to 7 hours away. She participated in that jalsa. So, it was such a big jalsa in Swat. And then even we have jalsa, a very big jalsa in Karachi. Okay, in Karachi there are a lot of Pashtuns also, and we have jalsa in Lahore. And in Lahore, what they did, the Pakistani military, there is a ground alongside the Mochi Gate, and the Pakistani army they open the dirty water upon the ground, so that these people can't do this jalsa, but we did. And they are stopping our leadership on the way not to reach to the jalsa. Even when the Karachi jalsa, Manzoor Pashtun had a booking, a flight in I don't know which airline was that, but that was suddenly cancelled. And then he, through by road, he tried to reach there, and he was stopped several times on the way to delay him. You know, Manzoor is a young person, and from a poor family. His father is a teacher. And this state is afraid of this person. And not only of Manzoor Pashtun. Pakistani military is afraid of his cape. You know, the Pashtun cape. His cape is a symbol. And Pakistan military is afraid of even that camp. So, so we have support from this area, from settled area. In this movement is still like mobilizing people, and like our demand are not yet fulfilled. Not a single demand. Rao Anwar, the police officer, he is free after killing more than 400 people in extrajudicial killing, and the Truth and Reconciliation Commission is not yet constituted, and the land mines, they are not clean yet. And then we have also other demands that Pakistani military has occupied our natural resources. So we are mobilizing more people, and more people are coming into this. Like 2 years, we had made enormous advancement in this mobilization. And now the state is telling us, please let's sit and talk with us. And we say, like, these are our demands. And why we should talk? There is law, there is constitution, applied it. And in Pakistan, we have also military courts. And military courts, I can tell you one example, executed one person because they said that this person was involved in the killing of Peshawar public school, where they slaughtered 150 kids. They executed this person, and later we reached to his home, and his parents told us that our son was arrested before the Peshawar attack. And now, last week, the court they rejected all this decision by the military court. They said no. They have challenged this. I think it's Peshawar High Court. So these are militaries in Pakistan. Militaries running the court in Pakistan. Militaries running the business. They have Askri banks. They have even they are selling pizza. They are selling cereal. They are selling urea. They are selling. They have. You can read this military ink by Aisha Sadiqa and one by Ishfaq Ahmad. I think Pakistan Garrison State. You can found this. So what they have to do, the Pakistani military, to defend their country, to defend it, to provide security to the people. But they lost all the war against India. Yes, and this is true. But they are very, very successful how to kill their own people. They are very, and they are very ruthless. Yes.
I think it's the first army which has become a business partner. Daimar Basha, dam in Gilgit-Baltistan is funded by Pakistani army and Chinese companies, not Pakistani government, not Pakistani companies, but Pakistani army is funding that construction of the dam in Gilgit-Baltistan.
Pakistan.
Officially, they signed the agreement. Pakistani army has signed the agreement.
Yeah, is also making movies and dramas. Yes.
Well, they also sell toilet paper. Anyway, that's I don't know what do you call them. Yeah, thanks Shakti ji for your.
I must congratulate you for organizing this. Very good, very educative for very educative. Jara Manana, Aurang Zeb Khan.
Thank you so much. Is Zalmay Khalilzad anyway related to you?
No, Zalmay name is different.
Okay. But he masquerades as an Afghan expert and he messed up the whole Afghan agreement anyway.
Yes, he's trying his best, and we don't know. Like in the beginning, sorry, we are diverting from the topic, but in the beginning, like Donald Trump was ready to sign the peace agreement at that time, and people were very in dilemma that like what's going on, like they are just bypassing the Afghan government. But suddenly Donald Trump rejected and did the talks with the Taliban, but again they resumed. So of course we want a peaceful solution because people are tired of wars, and Pakistan also want to play its role, and Pakistan is playing its role. Of course they were spending on this project Taliban for years. And now they want some outcome at the end. Of course, they want to play their card, and Pakistan even till today telling the US that you can live, I can do this, I can control, just pay for me, just pay for this, and I would do this. This is Pakistani wish. Yes, and India role, like this question was asked by Prime Minister of Pakistan. The previous PM Abbasi in America, there was a UN session, and he was asked on media, and he's about the role of India in Afghanistan, and he said zero role.
Yeah.
They cannot accept the role of India in Afghanistan. So because Afghanistan, they see markets for themselves, if they see a way to connect themselves with the Central Asia and with Europe. So they want this, and they want here to occupy this region. So therefore they cannot tolerate the Indian role in Afghanistan. But of course, India is a very good friend with Afghanistan, and India did a lot for Afghan people and for Afghanistan, and they are obliged of that. I know that.
Yeah, actually, I mean, in conclusion, our topic was from West India to the killing fields of Taliban. Had the leaders in Congress accepted, do you say, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan's proposal of making the Northwest Frontier province as part of India. And if India did not lose Gilgit-Baltistan to Pakistan, we had a direct connection. It is not different from Gilgit-Baltistan. You can directly go to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa you can go to Afghanistan and there on to Central Asian countries. So yes. Pakistan would not have the strategic advantage it has now, and China would have nowhere been in the scene at that time. It was a blunder by the Congress leaders then, who did not accept Bacha Khan's recommendation, and also they kept quiet in when Gilgit-Baltistan was occupied. Instead of militarily taking Pakistan away from there, they went to United Nations, and we know what mess they have created. I think the concept of West India in terms of these lands is not to be missed out by Indians. I think we lost a great strategic advantage in keeping this part of India as recommended by the great Bacha Khan. Maybe it's time for us to do justice to these people. And as George Santayana said, those who ignore history are condemned to repeat it. Let's not repeat the mistakes, and hopefully we learn lessons from our history and rectify it and do our best to our friends in Pashtunistan. With this, I hand this over to my colleague Chandrasekhar to propose a vote of thanks, and then we conclude it.
Thank you, Girdharji. Namaskar, Aurang Zeb Ji.
Namaskar.
Yeah, before proposing the vote of thanks, I have a question. I hope you don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned that you are a practicing Muslim. Yes, but
yes.
I understand you. I mean, you in the sense all the Pashtuns. You have your own Pashtun Wali, right?
Yes. Yes, you are right.
Yeah. So in the sense that you must be having some conflicts with the things mentioned in Quran. That's the reason why you have your own Pashtun Wali. So can you just highlight one or two things, like what are the conflicting things in terms of probably beliefs or practices or habits which made you to have your own Pashtun Wali? And number two, if it doesn't really bother you, your personal view on this Bani Israel thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be detailed, just your view.
Okay, yes. Like if we go in detail, then we say that there is no absolute truth at the end. It is a history, yes. But Pashtun Wali, I would say is, I have written one essay you can find on Google, Pashtun and Pashtun Wali, that it is an unwritten constitution of Pashtun. Yes, and it's a code of conduct in Pashtun society. And we say that Pashtun Wali, or we also say Pashto, even generally we say Pashto means like Pashtun Wali, is half kufr. Yeah, it is half against Islam. So we have, I think, some practices they go against. Like I would not go in detail because I'm not expert on this, but I can say that the mullah say that like dance and music, things are haram. Okay, but in Pashtun Wali, we have a traditional dance that is called Attan. Attan, Attan. Attan. You can Google this, and you can find on YouTube. That is a basic component of Pashtun Wali. They say if you cannot play this dance, if you can't display, then it means that you are not a perfect Pashtun. So these are there. We have also like hospitality. Yeah, like this is in Pashtun Wali. Of course, there is revenge. But we discourage these things. There are some things in Pashtun Wali we also discourage. And we have Nanawate. Nanawate means that even if you kill someone from a family and you go there and you surrender chivalrously, then they would forgive you, but with some condition. They would not kill you then. So that is like you can say the tolerance in Pashtun society. Of course, we believe in Pashtunwali, and we say first we are Pashtuns and then we are Muslims. Then to come to Bani Israel, this is one concept, that Pashtun is the last tribe of Bani Israel. There are some, you can find many similarities between our culture, tradition, and of the Bani Israel people. So I will say that maybe there is some weight in this theory, but there are other theories also. But we say at the current time we are Pashtuns and we are living on Pashtun land, and we have this Pashtunwali. But of course, this is I can see some weight in this Bani Israel theory, but I'm not sure how much percent this is correct.
Fine, fine.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Actually, Pashtuns predate Jews, so if that makes sense. So Pashtuns are part of Rigvedic Bharat. So Israel, Jews, and Bani Israel and all, they came much later, maybe 2,000, 3,000 years later. So in that sense, yeah, but this is an area where so many people came.
I told one teacher that you claim that we are the last tribe, but we claim 6,000 years history. So probably you are the last tribe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but this area was invaded, conquered, or ruled by so many people: Iranians, Turks, Arabs. So many people came. Russians now. So there's a lot of intermingling. So it's very difficult. Maybe some tribes of Israel also must have settled down there. We cannot rule it out. But Pashtu as a civilization, as a culture, as a race, or as a tribe, or whatever you want to call that, they predate the Jews, and they have been very specifically mentioned in Rig Veda. So that itself is a proof that these are very ancient Bharat tribes.
Yeah, I would add one point here, like the Pashtun history. When we look before Islam, like our script was Haroshti script, and after Islam it was changed into Arabic. So in Haroshti script we can't find things, and we don't know that, and we can't read. And also in the historical Indian books, because now there is like a control line, and there is Wagah border, and there is like, we don't have access, and we don't know about their culture now much, because the Pakistan is working on the people and its citizens to make them more religious, to indoctrinate them with Islamic religion and their context, their version, what the Pakistani military is preaching. So we don't have that context. Otherwise, we can find this because we are living in this region if we are living for 1,000 years. Of course, we have relations and connection with other races here. Yeah, and therefore I'm saying that South Asia should be a confederation, and there shouldn't be these borders. This should be open for people. In our village, when I was a kid, the old people, Pashtun, they were telling stories. They were doing businesses in Mumbai, in Delhi, and they were bringing Zeb apple from my hometown to Mumbai and selling there in Mumbai. And also what we say haldi, karkuman. They were, because Banu was producing a street producing karkaman, they were bringing this karkaman to Delhi and to Mumbai, and they have dealers there. So they were telling us the stories of those people, and we were very curious to know, because we can expect and we can think that, okay, I can go to the US. Of course, it's very difficult that a Pakistani citizen can get a US visa or the Schengen visa, but we can't think about India even, we say, oh, this is very difficult to go to India. Yeah. So if we have connection, like in India, I'm thinking someone should launch this Pashtun Tahaffuz movement in India, because there are, I think, millions of Pashtuns living in India.
32 lakhs. There are 32 lakh Pashtuns in India.
More than 3 million. They should also have a Pashtun Tahaffuz movement there.
Well, then our Bollywood will be empty. All our Bollywood Khans are Pashtuns. Well, anyway, I mean, they're pretty safe here, so they don't want to have any
like
movement.
they can do this for the language. They can promote their language. They can do something for their, for their society, for their community there. So, yeah, they can give tahaffuz to Pashto, because nowadays they are very less people I can see. They can speak the Pashtun from India. They can speak Pashto. Even they have forgotten this. They should learn this language. They should give tahaffuz to this language. So this will be, I think, a good idea.
Thank you. Thank
the
you.
original Pashto language, before you had the Arabic or Persian words into it, the original Pashto, the ancient Pashto language, Farsi script Pashto, had more than 40% Sanskrit words.
Yes, many words, like when my mother is talking, I can hear many words. Then I can hear those words in Bollywood movies or from Indian, Yeah, it's true.
Anyway, thank you. Chandrasekhar ji.
All right. Thank you so much. Yes, Aurang Zeb ji, India did honor Khan, the frontier Gandhi, with Bharat Ratna, the highest civilian award, as you know. Of course, you reckon India could not use this long association with Khan for soft power diplomacy, and we did record your concern, we understand. Yes, Pakistan is a piece of, it's a piece from India, but then it is sad that it is using this land, a piece of land, for raging terror, and it's actually spreading across the world, and we know what is happening across the globe. Of course, globally, things are changing fast, and we hope things change here too, in this part of the world, in our surroundings. And definitely, as your concerns, we understand, and things will definitely change for better, and peace will definitely prevail, and let's all be hopeful. All in all, this session has been really good in terms of sharing history, knowledge, and the facts. We did really enjoy this session to hear from you. Thank you so much, and we wish you all the best. We're together with you. Thanks once again.
Thank you so much.
Namaskar.
Thank you. One last request, Aurang Zeb ji. Whenever you mention South Asia, I would request you, this term South Asia itself is a very new purport. It didn't exist like 20, 30 years back. So I think because Pakistan has Kujli, you can call it, to call the term India. So it is better to trouble them. Start using the old name, Indian subcontinent. The moment you start saying Indian subcontinent, that will really hurt them where it hurts. And we for sure, we want to call it Bharatavarsha. We want to call it Bharatavarsha. There can be many legal entities. You can have a separate Pashtunistan, doesn't matter, but you are part of Bharatavarsha. So you can use these terms in your movement. South Asia is a term which never existed in history. It was created only to avoid the term India, and I think we should beat them in their psychological warfare.
I totally agree.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So you're welcome, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Namaste. Bharat Mata ki jai.
Namaste.
Bharat Mata ki jai.
Thank you.